Serious people who've had sex with their so/ex/friend's parent. How the hell did you get to that point? What happened after? I have slept with two of my mom's friends. The first one, she just asked if I wanted it and it happened. The second one, I went to her house, which was a couple of hours away, to do some handiwork. Next thing I know, we're drinking and we ended up having sex. It went on for about 6 months after that. I'm not allowed to meet her friends anymore. Which is okay because I'm happily married now. I had sex with a good friend's mom. Looking back, it's really messed up. She had been working on me for months. I was only 18. I'm ashamed of it. Fortunately, the friend never found out. But as an adult, I now look back at it and realize that I was in over my head and she should have known better. Edit. Wow, everyone. I appreciate the sympathy. Let me just tell you a little more so you don't worry about me. Was I groomed? Maybe looking back, I was. But I was certainly no virgin. The reason I feel ashamed of it is because it was my friend's mom. I could have had her anytime and she offered pretty often. So one night I decided to take her up on it. This doesn't affect me today. Probably never did in any deep way. Except feeling like crap because it was a betrayal of my friend. But as an adult, I find her decisions disgusting. And as an adult, I realize that my 18-year-old self didn't know anything about life and rarely thought of anything beyond getting laid. I'm not hard on myself about it these days. But I was for several years. Here we are. The post I've been waiting for. I sucked my best friend's dad's dick. Undefined. Me and my friend B had been preparing to go away on holiday. To work. We were at her dad's house whilst we had been packing/preparing. B and her stepmom needed some kind of suntan lotion, not too sure, and other bits, so stated they would go to the shops whilst I stayed back to finish off and hang out. I am a guy. Me and B's dad were just chatting and joking, all aware I am gayish, playing on his pool table/sharing a beer. He started giving me a jokey chat about looking after B as she hadn't been away by herself. We were maybe 17 at the time. B's dad was semi-famous for two things. Supposedly how he would go down on big birds for hours, that's Brit slang for larger ladies, and his massive dick. B's dad and I were sat down in his conservatory. I was sat on the sofa and he was sat across from me. He had been wearing these short shorts and at the angle I was at I could see his dick popping out. I evidently had made it obvious and he starts jokingly telling me to stop staring. I try to laugh it off. Feign embarrassment when really my mouth is starting to water, haha. I started asking how big it actually is and if it was hard, etc. He was laughing and saying no. It was very jokey laddie at this point. He then started teasing me if I wanted to see it. After a back and forth he pulled his short shorts down really quickly and then back up. After that I was enthralled. It still remains the biggest dick I've seen in real life. And I've had anal with a 10 dick. His was bigger. The next part is fairly embarrassing and awkward, but effectively I kept asking him if I could see it again as I was shocked. Then I asked if I could touch it, which he said everyone always does. Then it got somewhat intimate as my lips were around his head. The rest of that would be a trade secret, haha. The worst part came about 18 months later when we all met up for a lunch. He kept teasing me about stuff in front of B and boyfriend, her mom, his then wife, and other family about me being camp and my weight, etc. I remember feeling like I could be a total cunt and out the secret, but I loved the rest of the family too much. He was fairly masculine and played on being a man's man. That wasn't ever the case. but at the lunch he had got a new ear piercing and the older family had been teasing him about being soft. Towards the end of the lunch I got a bit of confidence and responded to one of his jibes by making a comment about his earring making him look like George Michael and would he prefer it if my mouth was full. Safe to say he was very quiet, haha. Besides me and him. You guys and some people I've told as I got older and moved away nobody knows. So. A fair few people know. Redditor for 3 years. Well played. Mine is one I'm not very proud of. This happened during spring break of 2000. I was 16. And my high school was out for 1 week for spring break. There was a girl who lived not far from me who was a year younger. But we were fairly close friends. She was kind of a tomboy. Outgoing. And generally pretty cool all around. I didn't have a whole lot of friends and was a bit of a loner. So the fact she would talk to me at all during lunch probably made her my closest friend. I admittedly was a bit interested in her romantically since she was cute. But I was too afraid to act on it since I didn't really have many friends and I didn't want to jeopardize anything. So during spring break, I'd come over to her house and we'd go out biking or walking. Basically any adventure that came to mind we went on. I remember it was a Thursday. And I had come over as we had initially planned to bike up to this park that was in the foothills. This was in Southern California. Her mom answered the door and said she wasn't home right now. This was also before everyone had a cell phone. But invited me in. Again. Not too out of the ordinary. Her mom was always pretty nice to me. Her mom was probably in her mid-40s. And was very attractive. She looked like my friend. But with longer hair and more of a figure. Clearly. I was attracted to her. But never really thought much about it. We had talked before when I had come over. And she was always really nice to me, much nicer than her husband. Who gave me the talk about hanging out with his daughter. Said talk included a not-so-veiled threat of serious physical harm if I did anything to her. This also added as to why I was kind of afraid to ask my friend out. Her mom invites me and I kind of stand in the living room while she goes and gets me a glass of water. She then tells me that my friend isn't at home since she is with her dad. She then goes on how her and my friend's dad have gotten distant over the years. As we talk she gets closer and closer. And before long, we kiss. It's a passionate kiss. And my hormones are going crazy at this point. Ultimately, we go to her room and have sex. It was my first time. I want to say it was hot and passionate. But looking back it was really awkward and clumsy. I had no idea what to do. And it didn't last long. She was less passionate and more aggressive. After she broke down and apologized. And I broke down and apologized too. It was not a good time. I just got dressed and walked home after we swore not to tell anyone, mainly because she just had sex with someone underage. Which is very, very illegal. I didn't want to say anything because I was ashamed. Ultimately, my friend and I drifted apart. I think she knew something happened since I just stopped talking to her and kind of hid from her. Every time I saw her, I thought of what her mom and I did. And I felt shame and disgust. I'd duck into a classroom when I saw her. Or I'd go eat lunch in the parking lot. Holy speep, do I feel like the world's biggest dick typing that out. I graduated and ended up dropping out of college twice. Said my way into a decent job and worked in Japan, Canada and New Zealand for 10 years before coming back home. And honestly haven't had a meaningful relationship with a woman in a while. It's a weird mix of trust issues I think and just me being distant. I just think back to that time with my friend's mom and feel ashamed and regretful again. I should never have given in to my urges like that. However, I'm okay being by myself to a point. Although I do kind of wish I had someone at times. It's strange. My friend and I talked a little on MySpace several years later. Yes. This is how long ago this was. But nothing after that. She went to college back east and was seeing someone. I felt jealous at the time. But then kind of sad. My last message was apologizing for becoming distant. But she never responded. We haven't spoken since about 2007. I have no idea what she's up to now. I know her parents eventually split up. And her dad was on a local city council until last year. No idea what her mom is doing now. I try not to think about it very much. But I wish I could just apologize to my friend. Sorry for the giant story, everyone.
Hey guys, if you like this video then smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel for more contents like this. And don't forget to press that bell icon to get notified for future videos. Thanks for watching. Click here to see more videos.